All right, everybody, it's your boy, Mikey Wilson. You know what time it is. It's time for another episode of DWMOD. We're heading into tourney time. NFL free agency's heating up. Louis has promised me he's put together a good show today. Andy St. Clair is back in the house. Let's get this thing going, man.
Ready?
College football is now B1G versus SEC.
Down! Hook!
If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money.
Ready?
Oh, Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works.
We cutting loose.
All right, man. Andy St. Clair is back in the house. Andy, where are you? Get in here. Louis, bring him in here.
Yo, I'm here.
Get it together over there.
Come on, man. Louis, you just had me sitting. I was in there for almost an hour.
Just sitting in there forever, man. I don't know what the hell's going on with that.
Yeah, I
man.
know what he's doing.
How's things going, brother?
Good. You know, we're at the good time of March Madness about to start. You know,
Yes, sir.
The road to WrestleMania is here. The Masters are coming around this weekend. Sawgrass.
Okay.
So,
Okay, we'll get some
Sawgrass
going on that.
That's known as kind of like the fifth major in golf, which you generally get all the kind of the good players playing. So
I just remember playing the Sawgrass course on the Super Nintendo's PGA Tour, which was one of the better golf games ever.
That was a great. We did it in college. I played it on Sega.
Yeah, it was just a phenomenal golf game. Like the controls were really good, but it was tricky. It was a great one, man.
17th holes. Got that is the little island. It's the most famous hole, maybe in golf. One of the most famous holes in golf. But I once this story is nothing. But I once dated a girl from that area, and she told me that that people that in that area that one of their goals was always to have sex on the 17th hole.
What the?
Yeah. So now whenever I see that hole, I just think about there's probably a lot of probably really had to clean that hole.
Yeah, right.
Right?
There's so many innuendos here. Everybody gets it in the hole on 17.
Yeah.
Gotta clean that hole. Get that thing out of there.
Yeah.
One shot. I mean, let's not. It's bad. Oh man. Listen, NFL free agency heating up.
Oh yeah.
I'm chomping at the bit to even get to this, man. Let's just, all right, let's just run down some quick ones though, right?
Okay.
So Geno gets traded to the Raiders. What's your take on that?
My take is I think it's probably a good move for the Raiders. I don't think Geno's going to make the Raiders 12-5, but I think, look, you just got to get a quarterback in there who's at least can be a little more competent. And I think it's a good move for the Raiders. They're going to have to pay Geno next year, obviously.
Yeah.
The Seahawks are putting a lot of faith into Sam Darnold. To me, I kind of feel like the Seahawks are, I'm sure they would say no, but I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a start over. They're going to kind of start a little more fresh. They got rid of DK, they got rid of Lockett.
Yeah.
That team wasn't that bad last year. Right? They were 9-8 maybe. I might have kept the band together.
Yeah,
but I guess they
got
didn't
a
want to
fading 49ers team in that division, right? I mean,
Arizona,
Arizona's always going to be Arizona as long as they got Kyler Murray. They're never going to be any good.
Right.
You got the Rams and the Seahawks. I'm like, what? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's an interesting division, the AFC West. It's like they're all really good coaches in there, and you got Carroll and Harbaugh, and you got Peyton and Andy Reid. So look, it's going to be a good division. I do think the Raiders are setting themselves up a little bit for Gianti at 6. I think that seems to me like a play. Right?
You don't think this is a draft a quarterback and bring him in and let Geno teach him some things?
No, because Geno is probably one of the most accurate quarterbacks in football.
He's good.
He's like accuracy. I'm not saying he's like the best quarterback, but if he wants to get the ball there, he gets it there. Geno's also coming up for his contract's up at the end of the year, right? So you get a new contract. I think you trade for him here. I think you're going to pay him, and I think Carroll and the Raiders are going to look at Gianti at 6 because, look, then you're going to have Bowers, you have Mayer, you're going to run Gianti, you have Geno.
Yeah.
You have a couple wide receivers. They have Jacoby Myers, a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I think they're going to build that way.
They're going to be decent. I think they'll be a borderline playoff team just adding Geno. I do. I mean, Crosby's paid. He's bought in. He's going to stay. Grab Bowers in your fantasy league right now. He put up numbers like that last year with Uncle Rico. I
Right.
mean,
Well, the problem is the AFC is just so loaded, right? Like even if you think like the Chiefs aren't going to win that division, then you got the Broncos who made the playoffs, the Chargers who
yep,
made the playoffs.
yep.
So like I think the Chiefs win that division still, and
Sure,
then
sure.
then they're going to fight it out with like 4 or 5 other. You got the Ravens, the Bengals, the Steelers. Like say what you want about the Steelers, and we have, but they
Yeah.
they at least go 9-8. You can guarantee they're going to be 9-8.
Yeah, let's jump on the Steelers right now, right? So they get DK,
Yeah.
don't sign any quarterbacks.
Right.
It's in the listen, we're gonna get to ESPN later because I'm declaring all out war on ESPN. It is now DWMOD against ESPN
Right.
and the brass, not the people on air. It's not their fault. But
Right.
listen, we're gonna get to that big time a little bit later. Stop with the Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers. And I'll give you my quick 2 cents and I'll let you jump in. No way. No way Mike Tomlin wants Aaron Rodgers in that building. That does not fly with the way Tomlin wants to run that building. Now we've seen in the last 2 years the building being pulled away. I hate when they say the buildings get away from Tomlin. They're pulling it away from him. He don't play like that. He don't, you know what I'm saying? For Rodgers to even wind up there, that's front office saying we're not doing it the Tomlin way anyway. We're doing it our way, and Tomlin's going to be really unhappy. I don't see that being something he wants at all.
Well, the problem is they don't have any other choices, right? They got 2 choices: the one they know in Russ Wilson or Rodgers, right? That's the only 2 choices left, really. So, like, you kind of got to decide. I kind of think they will go Rodgers because I think Rodgers can get it up and around a little more to DK and to Pickens. I think you could argue Russ could do the same thing in a way, Russ. But I just think I would rather have Rodgers than Russ. If you just put a gun to my head, just make me pick one of them. Like,
I don't know.
Also, I think the other argument is like, Green Bay and Pittsburgh are different teams, different cities, basically, but not the franchises. They're similar in some way. And maybe this will give Rodgers that a little, cold weather teams, pretty big, history franchise. Maybe this will help him. I also think a big receiver like DK will help Rodgers because Rodgers is going to overthrow him. You just like get up there and get it, DK.
Yeah, maybe. I just wouldn't do it. You know where I stand on Rodgers. I'm like, no. I would tolerate his horse shit back in the day when he was like the best guy in the game. But now when he's like a little better than average, no thanks.
But who are you taking though? I guess you'll take Russ over Rodgers. You gonna take Jameis?
Well, listen, I think Russ would be a lot cheaper. I wouldn't go with Jameis.
Tomlin would kill Jameis.
He would kill him. Yeah, he would kill him. I don't know, man.
I think we're coming. I think Rodgers to Steelers is coming. I just think it's a matter of time.
Or Minnesota, and he completes the Brett Favre circle.
Well, they got McCarthy. They're gonna rock with McCarthy now.
Yeah, I think they are. Darnold's in Seattle. I'll tell you one thing I would do if I was the Steelers. If I'm bringing in Rodgers, Pickens got to go. Listen, I just paid DK, and I'm not just saying ego wise in the locker room. That is the big reason, but it's a money thing. If you're the front, I love to play front office, man. I don't play fan, and I'm like, we just paid DK. Pickens is going to want a payday that we're not giving him. DK's our number 1 guy now. This is the last year on his contract. We're not going to extend him for big money, so we got to try to move him to get something.
Yeah, but you can. I would keep Pickens for this year, right? See, play it out. Give Rodgers a 1-year contract. See what we're doing at the end. If our team is 11-6, which is not impossible. The Steelers are like they're just always in that 9-win range, right?
They'll be in there.
If Rodgers can get them to another win or two, like it'll be a success. I think. I just think I just betting on Tomlin, and if Tomlin agrees to it, I do think Tomlin's going to be it's his way or the highway.
That would be fun to see. I would love it for that. I really would love to see Rodgers go there to meet a coach that finally goes, "Shut your fucking mouth."
Yeah,
you know what I mean, I would love it.
I just don't see Tomlin backing down. They lost Najee Harris, who went to the Chargers. They signed Gainwell. I saw today from the Eagles, who's a little scat back. Like he's fine. Like maybe they'll do this draft class supposedly has a lot of running backs.
Lot.
So I imagine they're going to draft a running back.
Yeah.
It's somebody,
I would imagine they would. Fields to the Jets, that we don't even need to get long-winded on that. That seems like a no-brainer. Like, yeah, you bring him in. He's got his guy there already that he played with in college. They got a little camaraderie going. You're not going to spend a ton of money on it. If it doesn't work, you move on. Like that seemed like a yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean it's just Bears redo. It's Bears 2.0. Like
Sure.
that Aaron Glenn is already getting his defensive coordinator resume back out there, I imagine. You know,
Maybe, but the Jets are pretty run heavy, which plays to Fields. And most of these guys that have had Fields before have tried to be like, no, he's a passer. He's a passer. We make him throw, and then he can beat us with the run. It. I think he goes in there, and Glenn's like, no, this is what we're doing, man. We're run heavy. It's going to be a lot of play action. It's going to be a lot of Fields out there. And if we throw, we throw.
I would rather have Rodgers. I would rather have Russ. And the Steelers made that. Steelers even decided that. Tomlin was like, I'd rather have Russ than Fields. I think it's a horrible choice, personally. I think the Jets are going to be bad, be it with a capital B bad. Like they're already bad. They already won like 5 games.
Yeah, they're not going to be good. I just
they should trade that wide receiver who's awesome. I can't think of his name at the moment. They got to get out. I just think it's going to be bad. In fact,
I don't think it's going to be great.
I think the Jets are a candidate for Shedeur Sanders at 7.
Do you think that that's what they're going to do here? I mean, they didn't drop a big contract on Fields.
Right. I do think it's possible. I think Shedeur, if Shedeur gets to 7, we'll see.
Yeah.
If he gets by the Giants, like that's the thing, right? It's the Browns.
Sure.
I think Browns will take Cam. And I think if the Giants are kind of the key. Because or in the Titans, the Titans may do it. But I think the Titans.
Maybe Titans, yeah.
I kind of feel like the Titans are going to kind of stick with Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. I think they're going to ride one more year on there, which I actually think is probably the way to go.
I'm really interested to see what Travis Hunter is going to be in the NFL. I just really am. I mean, I do like the kid. I think he handled everything well in Colorado. He wasn't, one of these types like Shedeur that was these brass, look at my Rolex types. You know what I mean? Like he seems like a hardworking, good kid. I like him. I'm interested to see how this shakes out in the NFL, though, because he was kind of a kid that was a better athlete than everybody in college.
Right.
And just outplayed people on both sides of the ball and not at an excessive level that everybody makes it out to be. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he won the award for the best receiver in the country, but he was not the best receiver in the country.
No.
And not at all. That was a publicity thing. So interesting to see how that'll go, but that's neither here nor there. The Fields thing, right. I'm with you. I don't think the Jets will be good. I don't think they're going to be great. I think this is his very last team that's going to go. There's still some gas in this tank, and for a cheap amount of money, we can see if this is where he flowers. This will be his last chance. They're going to suck anyway. That's why if I'm the Jets, I'm like, give it a whirl and draft a quarterback. I don't know.
Yeah, next year, I think the Jets, if they don't get Sanders, I see them getting a quarterback next year. I just 100%. Think Fields is like
100%. I'm not expecting much out of him.
It's why not for cheap as amount of money? I'm glad they didn't pay for like Darnold. They weren't going to get Darnold.
It's an absolute Jets move.
Yeah,
it's an absolute Jets move, man.
They're in the they're in the building. They're in the running for already. I think is the Arch Manning sweepstakes. That's what they're playing for, and that's probably why they're like, we'll just take Fields for a year. I don't know if Arch can come out next year. I don't know off the top of my head, but if he can. The Jets, to me, are already leading the charge.
Yeah. And that's a classic move for a bad front office is to get in the sweepstakes of a kid who's taken 6 snaps because of his last name. You know what I mean?
Guy seems it's just the lineage tells us everything.
Sure. I'm not saying I think he's going to be a bust. I'm just saying you're 2 years away from that, and that front office is already going, let's tank for a kid we don't even know if he's any good or not yet. Classic. Right. Other teams are like, no, we're in a position to maybe win this year. We're not worried about that. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Bosa gets cut from the Chargers. He winds up with the Bills. The Bills cut Von Miller. Vaughn didn't have a bad year last year. I think somebody picks him up. They get a good little player that can really help develop some of their guys and be good in the locker room. He had a decent season last year for an older guy. Really did, coming off the knee injury too. Thought he played pretty well. But
I like this move for the Bills. The thing about Bosa is like, dude's always hurt,
and it's cold. He's gonna be hurt more.
Yeah, it's like, and also he only gets hurt to me in like week 13 or 12 or later. Like it's like he's really good the first 10 weeks, and then all of a sudden he breaks down.
That's my biggest thing too, man. I'm glad you brought it up. It's like, my man, you couldn't stay healthy in the warm beaches of San Diego. You think you're staying healthy up in Buffalo? Nah.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's good for the Bills. Though I guess the Bills problem was defense, because when I think about this last year's team, they did score a lot. They just gave up a lot of points. But
Yeah, they need the defense.
It doesn't mean, to me at least, I'm not like, wow, this puts them over the top. Like, I'm like, it's fine.
Definitely helps them though. Yeah,
it helps them, but it's fine. By the way, I did look it up. Arch is available. Arch and that LSU quarterback are the two top quarterbacks in 2 years. So just the Jets are already doing. The Jets are maybe they're playing this beautifully. Maybe they're the only smart team. They're like, you know what, we're going to secretly tank with Fields.
We'd all be blown aghast if the Jets played something perfectly over a 2-year slow play. That's good luck with that. Anyway, the Lions get DJ Reed. Speaking of Jets, Lions signed DJ Reed from the Jets. That's a big signing for us. That's a big help where we could use a little bit of help. He's going to be a lot more solid a player than a guy like Terry and Arnold. I know Arnold was switching around to some different spots last year. You know where I stand on Arnold. This is his last year. This is his last year in Detroit if he doesn't get his shit together. You got to stop the clutching and the grabbing. You better learn how to play in the NFL. Leads the league in PIs and holds, and like that stuff's just not going to fly anymore, man. The only reason he played so much last year is because he's so athletically talented. But that will only get you so far in the NFL. There have been better athletes than Terry and Arnold that have been shown the door because they refuse to learn how to play. He better get his shit together. But the Lions, absolutely, we need to get some pass rush, and it's drying up out there. Call the Bengals. Get me Hendrickson. Man.
And I just don't think the Lions will do it, right? I think it's just like,
I know. What do you think they want for Hendrickson, though? What's the price on that? We're not talking about Myles Garrett, you know.
But the problem is he was the sack leader this year. So like he won the sack title. So he's going to think he deserves Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons. Like Parsons just licking his chops, right?
Yeah.
He's just waiting. Like the Cowboys did it again. They waited too long. They waited too long to sign their dude. And now Myles Garrett signs this huge contract. So now Micah is like, he's got the napkin
Crosby,
on. He's drooling.
He's drooling.
I think the same with Trey Hendricks. Like, I think this guy is like really good, but there's going to be the value of getting this guy.
I'd be interested to see what they want for Trey, because it's one of those things where he wants out. They don't want to give him the big extension and pay him. I don't know how many years he's got left on his deal. Maybe 2.
Maybe.
If it's 2, I think that's a good deal for the Lions. You guys want to get out of this because you don't want to pay him. We're looking at a 2-year window here where we're not going to pay him because we're paying Hutch. I'd give him the 29th pick for him.
Right. But wouldn't you, if you're the Lions, like, wouldn't you just take some shots on college dudes?
We're going all defense in this draft. I'm telling you.
Right.
That.
So so my point is like, why put that money? You're going to get 3 dudes for the price of 1. Like, just take some shots. Like, where did Trey Hendrickson even go to college? Like, he went to FAU. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Right. He went to FAU. So so just take some shots. Like, the Lions are, and the Lions, they've moved their way into one of the smarter teams in football.
Which is hard for me to absorb and understand. I'm always in this panic mode as a Lions fan from a front office standpoint of, listen, we're not going to become the Patriots or the Chiefs and be good for you. Like, this window's small, man, and it's shrinking. Give me the guys.
I think they are, though. I think they are going to be.
I hope so. I think they could be. They have the right guys. I don't disagree with you. I'm just a very nervous fan because
I think they're going to I think they should trade the wide receiver, not St. Brown, Jamal, the
Jameson Williams.
Jameson. I think they should trade from Alabama. I think they should trade that dude, get some picks, get some room. You can put wide receivers, in my opinion, you can put wide receivers into that offense. It's a very wide receiver friendly offense.
You're not wrong, but his ability to take the lid off really, really, really is dangerous because of St. Brown. But you have to respect it, and St. Brown eats you alive underneath.
Then go get Golden. Go get that Golden kid from Texas. You're drafting it to back the first round, right? Trade Jameson.
No, we got to draft defense. We got to draft.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that trade's coming. I think Jameson's on his way out. Whether it's next year, I just don't think he's going to be a Lion much longer.
Yeah, he might be. I'm just very much as a Lions fan right now. I'm like, I'm the 15-year-old kid that's almost growing into a man who's been getting beaten by his drunken dad for 15 years, and just last year he quit hitting me because he quit drinking, and it's been a year, but I'm like, when's he going to start drinking again?
Yeah. Right. What I like about what the Lions are like not doing Trey specifically is like, they haven't gone too crazy, right? They've been pretty You know, they
Yeah,
haven't gone
they've been good.
crazy with their money. They're smart. They know their team's good. They're not like, oh my gosh, you know, they're not getting like Tyreek Hill. Like that would be to me insane.
No. Yeah,
for
we
them.
didn't do like the Cowboys. Like we got out in front of signing all our guys. Like we lined up
Yes,
Penny Sewell, we lined up St. Brown, we got Goff his money. We got
right.
like, and in a way where it doesn't hurt us. They've been very good with that, man. I need to trust them a little more.
Yeah.
But I'm very nervous about how bad the defense on the pass rush was because everybody's like, "Oh, Hutch will be back." I'm like, my man is a year away from being Hutchinson again.
Yeah,
Like,
but
you got to
you're
be
gonna draft
honest, dude.
those
That
dudes. You're
broken
gonna draft
leg.
They'll draft some. They'll draft so many defensive dudes. You know,
Yeah,
just need like 2 of them to hit. You know,
yeah.
I'll get
We
7 of them.
picked up a defensive tackle this week. I can't remember his name right now, but a good player, but nothing
Yeah.
special. But
And
listen,
the other thing is too about the Lions, I will say, and it's coming a Lions podcast. Like I trust Campbell. All right, I trust
do.
Campbell to get those dudes ready. Like
Yeah.
I trust the front office. I don't know, but if I was ranking like 10 smartest NFL teams, I definitely believe the Lions would be up.
Yeah, it's the combination of Brad and Dan. The way like they just get each other. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like Brad knows what Dan needs, and Dan knows how to work with what Brad gives him. You know, but Brad is a really good GM. He
Yeah,
don't try to be like, I'm running this team. Here's a guy, you use him. He's like, no, here's Dan Campbell's tools for success, and I'm going to find players that fit those tools for success. You know,
right,
it's a very good marriage. I'm
right,
very happy about it. You know,
right. And
I'm never going to complain if we don't go to the Super Bowl, Andy. If we're
Right.
competitive every damn year and we're getting into the playoffs, my God, I could cry.
Right. Well, you know, if they could get Trey on a good number, absolutely. But I just don't know if it's going to be a good number.
Yeah, I don't either, but I'm just really worried about the pass rush this year, especially in our division. We'll see. Debo goes to the Commanders. We didn't get a chance to talk about that last week.
Sure. I like it.
I
Right.
mean, egg on 49ers face. He holds them over the barrel. They buckle. They give him the big money, and then a year later, they're going, "Yeah, we knew better than this. You're out of here. You can't stay healthy."
Yeah, I mean that the Commanders are the team where like these older guys tend to go. It seems recently, you know, like I think for that offense, like, you know, they may need to treat Debo a little differently, right? Than the 49ers did. Like
Yeah,
less like those running, you know, like
yeah.
they got McLaurin, who's awesome, you know.
No,
They
it'll be good. It'll be good for Daniels. Maybe he'll compliment them guys. You're right. If they're not pounding him, running the football and stuff, maybe it'll be a good marriage for them. But
Yeah.
DC's better. They're going to be better. You know, it's going to be a fun year, man. Day to day, this NFL offseason is heating up. We'll try to keep you guys up to date on what's going on. We just broke down a bunch of stuff real quick for you. If you're too busy working and doing all this stuff to know, there's what's happening at this point. Really quickly before we move on, man, I'll give a shout out to one of my oldest best friends, Mike Fember, got married this last weekend. I was up in Detroit for the wedding. It's good to see him. I haven't seen these guys in a long time since I moved out to LA 10 years ago. And, you know, anyways, good to see those guys. Congratulations to him. Good dude, good time. And guess what I had for breakfast the day after that wedding, Andy?
Did you have a Coney?
Oh, buddy, this Coney right
Breakfast?
here. This Coney right there. Look
Oh,
at that bad boy with an egg on it.
With an egg. I've never had that.
Buddy, we walked into the Coney. I said, you know what? I told the lady, I said, I'm going to be a little difficult right now. I want you to give me a Coney all the way, sunny side up egg on top. And she goes, that ain't difficult. I got you.
Oh, man.
It was delicious combo, as you would imagine.
Sure. I love it. Coney's that's one of my faves.
It was so damn good. Good time up in Detroit. Good time. Good people. Got to see everybody. Got to see some fam. Got to see it. Man, it was great. All right, guys. We got to get into some quick hits here. We went a little long on the free agency, but it was necessary and it was entertaining. But you know who's taking us into quick hits here, Annie? It's your boy, Gordon Butterfield. He's going to let us know what's going on, what just happened.
What just happened? Brought to you by the Sports Authority. At the Sports Authority, you can gear up to look just like a pro, from little tacks to full-grown adults. But they can't help you play like one if you're not any good. So don't suck. That's the Sports Authority, a Chapter 11 company. Parkour is a fast-growing sport among young teens, and young Jeff Cole will show you how it's... Oh, look out! Special delivery. TKO Box 123. Tammy Farmer. Classic springboard. Facial. Tries to keep her feet. Bang! That'll knock a few points off of the old SAT. Oh, my. Into the Sandman. That's a headbanger there. Bang! Knocked her shoes right off.
Oh, what
just happened?
I think that poor girl got brain damage.
I lost her teeth. Like I was worried about.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Right.
and then the first guy just who's taping these people, right? Like, why didn't watch out for the box?
Tripod. That's what's going on.
Right? You're probably right. That's probably right. Because I was like, somebody needs to tell that kid there's a box right in the way.
Right
like,
in the way. I wanted to be at that lunch break at that high school because that girl doesn't do that kind of stuff, and they geared her ass up. You could do it. Like 3 kids did it first, and she was like, I could do that. They're like, yeah, you could do it.
Well, she cleared it easily. Did she over cleared it?
Yeah. I smashed her.
You know what it is like these people don't have children. Like, you have a kid, I have a kid. Like when their kid's young, you're scanning the area for like, okay, she's gonna fucking break that thing down next. She's
Yeah.
And I have a pretty safe kid, and I'm still scanning the area. Like,
yep.
I'm sure Nolan was probably maybe a little more rambunctious than mine.
No, Nolan's always been like, oh man, I've got tears in my eyes from laughing at that thing. He's always been a pretty cautious kid. He was always pretty cautious.
Mine too. There's a lot of caution, but I'm still scanning the area for like, she could fall into there. So these people just have a kid. That's what these people do.
Man, poor Gordon was really worried about her test scores, though.
Yeah, he was. I thought that was the best Gordon. Like, I thought he was like, it was at his best right there. I thought he was respectful.
I don't think he didn't have enough scotch going before that one. I wanted him to go harder.
I think he was respectful. I just thought he was the nicest I've heard him in a while.
I think it was because it was kids.
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna have to do some more kid video. Well, I don't know. He went hard on Sven when that TV fell on him. I don't know. I'll have a talk with him.
Well, he killed that kid that tried to do that magic trick.
Yeah.
Right.
Those kids almost died. He went to town on those kids.
Hey, by the way,
I thought he was saying, by the way, and then Louis playing quick hits.
Right on me. Louis, I thought something about free agency where I was watching that video. I want to make this prediction. I'm going to call it right now. The New Orleans Saints, #1 pick next year's draft.
Yeah.
Arch Manning. There you go. It's going to be the loop of the Manning loop will be complete.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. That'd be fun to see. That would be fun to see. Okay, now Louis will go to quick hits.
Right.
All right, buddy. The Pistons, the Detroit Pistons are hot, man. They're looking good. And check this out. In the top 10 for the power rankings? What am I watching? This is as crazy as the Lions turnaround. There's my man Cade right there. There's the top 10. Now, let me tell you, we're about to take over the Bucks for the #4 seed. So I think we're better than #9. We're better than #8. I'd play #7 in a series. I'd play the Knicks. Give me the Knicks. I think the Nuggets and the Celtics and maybe, not even the Lakers. No, I'd take the Lakers on right now. I think there's like 4 teams in the league that are clearly like they would beat us pretty quickly in 7 games, maybe. Everyone else, that's a gamble. I think we're good, man.
That I like about that Pistons team is like they're tough. Like that guy, Ron Holland. That guy is just looking for a fucking fight every
him and Beef Stew.
Him and Beef Stew, man. Those dudes are like, if you want to go, we are ready to go.
They're ready to go, man. They're ready to go.
It's a great story. It's like a great a coach who likes the team, who likes a young team. We'll see if JB can keep coaching this team in the next 5 or 10 years. But he's really good for this team right now. He's like taking this team like really awesome things. Yeah, I think the team is really good. I do think they want to get the 4 or 5 seed. I don't think they'll beat the Knicks I think Knicks have a little too much offense in a 7-game series.
7-game series, maybe, yeah.
But I think they're good, man. They're a legit team.
I put it this way: the Knicks ain't looking at the Pistons and going, "Yeah, give us them."
No,
nobody
is.
They're not.
Nobody wants to play the Pistons in a 7-game series, mainly because somebody's gonna get the shit beat out of them.
Yeah,
Beef Stew or Holland is gonna be like, "Hey, Game 3, I'm going to beat the shit out of you."
You ain't kidding. Somebody's going to do it. I've been having a lot of fun watching Jalen Duren, man. Because he just comes flying off the screen sometimes. It just hammers these power dunks down like off of a rebound or an alley-oop or something. And you're like, oh, and then we just get going. You know what I mean? Like, he's been fun to watch. I like the high-flying guys, the old-school high-flying guys that are just always attacking the rim. You know what I mean?
What I like about this Pistons team is like, there's a lot of dudes on there to play, but like they know Cade's the guy.
Cade's
They
great.
just know Cade's the guy. So at the end of the games, Cade has the ball. Cade will make the decisions. Like there's not like 3 dudes on there and be like, I should get the, they're just like, Cade will make our decision. We just do the rest. Right.
Yeah.
And I like that about the team. So if you can shut down Cade, obviously you can win, but I don't know who can.
I don't know anybody can.
Right,
not in this day and age, the way they.
I mean, the dude averages like 38 and 7. 38. Like he's incredible. So
yeah, there's some crazy stat where like him and the Joker are the only ones to do these crazy triple double numbers this year. Something like I don't know, like 40, 20, and 10 or some shit. I don't know, like crazy. Joker just went 20, 20, 20 or something. He had 30 points, 20 assists, 20 boards. Like he's the only person to ever crazy.
Right. He had a triple double, and then he had another triple double,
and he had another. Yeah, right. Yeah, he had double, triple double. Yeah. You ain't lying, man. So,
but I think
Cade's great.
The Pistons will, whoever they play, probably will be the dog. My guess in the first round. But man, that is like a horrible draw for somebody. Whether it's the Pacers, whether it's the Knicks, I think it's just a horrible draw. And I think if they if they do win, they get to the second round. Look, they're going to lose to the Cavs or they're going to lose to the Celtics, whoever. But man, that's going to be just if you're the Celtics and you're sitting at 1 or 2 and you see them at 3, it's probably going to be the Cavs, I guess. Cavs. You're just going to be like, oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into this fight for like 5, 6, 7 games. I just want to win.
100% right. You're 100% right about that, man. And I'm going to apologize to Cade Cunningham right now too, because I never was down on him, but many a times on this show, I have said how much the NBA doesn't like us. Worst team in the league 5, 6 years in a row. We got the first pick once. The 1 year nobody wanted to take anyone number 1, and we wound up getting Cade. And I've said that before. He wasn't a predominant number 1 pick. Okay. This kid has really turned into one of the best players in the league. He's a future MVP, I believe. He's phenomenal. I love him. And wow, that really screwed the NBA for trying to stick it to us. So that's great.
He's awesome. He's awesome. And hopefully, and the Pistons have done a great job at drafting dudes. Like they just draft basketball players, man. They've done, whether it's Duran or Holland or Steve Stu, like they've gotten dudes. And
starting to see more and more of that around the league, and it really makes me feel like there's some hope for the NBA. We're getting away from this super team, superstar, superpower, and we're figuring out, the game is what's important. And when you get teams playing team basketball, it's fun now that like all these teams, the NBA is more fun when the Pistons are good. It just is, man. For me, I'm a Piston fan, but just in general, man, like even like up in New York and you don't think there's buzz in New York right now about like, goddamn, the bad boys are back. They're good, man. Like Chicago, Boston. You don't think Boston and New York are going, damn, we don't want to play the Pistons. This feels like old times, Well,
and the Pistons, the Pistons kind of, what they did was they drafted well. They continued to try hard and they continued to suck. And eventually those guys got better, right?
Yeah.
Like a team like the Bulls, right? Who's constantly fighting for like the 8, 9, 10 seed. Like it's never going to get better, right? It's never going to get better until they absolutely bottom out. Like they have to do kind of what the Pistons did. Like they got to bottom out. And the Bulls refused to bottom out because they like that one home playoff game for a chance to get beaten by the Celtics. Right. Like I'd much rather, the next 5 years, the Pistons have a much higher ceiling than like, I don't know how many A and East teams. Like if you were ranking East teams over the next 5 years, it's like Celtics, Cavs, Knicks,
Pistons,
Bucks. Like, and I probably put the Pistons over the Bucks because I don't know.
They're on the decline. Yeah.
So I think it's like the future's bright in Detroit. Now they need to get one more scoring dude. Just one more.
Yeah. I did throw. Let's take a good look at Cade real quickly here. Let's let this thing zoom in a little bit so we get a good look at Cade, because I put Cade's picture into an AI machine to see what he would look like when he receives his Hall of Fame jacket. And here it is. He's Grady.
Yeah. There it is.
He's Grady. I can't help it. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh man, he looks just like Grady from Sanford and Son, man. No disrespect, Cade. I love you, man. You got a Grady look to him.
He does look like Grady.
Look to him, man. I love him to death, man. Okay, really quickly, we're going to move on here in about 15 seconds. We had a chance for the first time in the history of Detroit for all 4 teams to make the playoffs in the same year, which I found crazy that had never happened. Crazy. Red Wings ain't going to make it. Where was I gonna make it? Come on, man. We're like 7 points back now and fading. And anyway, but like, so I found this video of this little girl that absolutely, this is me every March with the Red Wings.
Stop crying right now, okay? Are you crying?
No.
Not in...
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm laughing.
You're happy?
I'm laughing.
Oh, yeah, you're laughing.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to watch
The Red Wings?
Yeah.
Okay, no more crying, okay?
I think I'm a little bit tired.
Yeah. I'm a bit tired.
She's tired out. I'm tired out, man. Come on, Wings. Get it together. Oh, man. Well, that's it for Quick Hits this week. We're going to skip this last one so we can get to the Knock It Offs, man, because they are really, really good. We're going to dive in here on Knock It Off. But before we get to that, little quick teaser for the second episode of Better Be Good coming up on Kuttin Loose, the food show. Here's a little trailer for what's coming up this week. All right, guys, we're back again, Kuttin Loose, Better Be Good. Today we're right out in Brookhaven, right outside the Havana Sandwich Shop.
Let's go.
Let's go, Havana Sandwich Shop. Everybody told us it's the best Cuban sandwich in Atlanta.
What they said.
Then what they say.
And this is what most Cubans will have for breakfast in the morning.
Check this out. I'm not a coffee guy, but I want to try this.
We'll try it. You're never going to know unless you try it.
Looks like you need it.
Okay, so here we got some food.
All right.
Go get some extra plates and forks and knives. We're going to get some extra
Okay,
plates.
so this is the
so y'all
pork
can-
plate here, right?
That is correct.
Okay, I'm going to dive into that.
A little mohawk.
Oh, so this goes right on it, huh?
Yeah, put your
Yeah,
fingers in
like
the
for biting. There you go.
Before we do this.
Well, good. We are here to please.
Oh, yeah. This is great. So what's in this veggie one? This looks like...
It's basically mushroom, onion,
Mushroom.
pepper, cheese, and jalapeno. I mean, it's, you know, it's not as good as, but it's good. Flan. It's a caramel egg custard. I know, isn't it just a die for? But we did. We fed the Braves
I was going to ask you the Cuban connection to baseball and the Braves, if this was a place that maybe they come into.
Rafael Belliar used to come in and get his food.
Dave
It was his good luck
Justice.
charm before every home game.
That's great. All right. One quick question about the 96 Olympics. Richard Jewell, did he do it or did he not do it?
Did not.
He did not, right?
He got so railroaded.
Yeah, they railroaded that guy.
I know.
They railroaded that. Come
on in, Richard.
Weird, it's not a bomb.
He had a good time.
We cutting loose.
Man,
Wow.
full. I was full after that, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that.
I'm going to say the same thing I said last time, which is, and you need to go to a doctor, first off, and I need your stats pre this show. Pre
Oh,
this show. Because I feel, because the other guy, I don't know the other guy, but he seems like he's just sampling stuff. Maybe he's eating the whole thing. He's just sampling. You seem like you're
I'm in.
eating the entire thing.
I'm in, man. I'm in. Because and Jeffrey don't eat a lot of pork, right? So especially at a place like that, it was like everything was coming to me, and I couldn't have been happier. I'm telling you that right now.
I mean, you're gonna need to. I see like 15, 20 pounds, cholesterol going up. I'm worried. I think we're all. I gotta talk to your wife. We may have to check on you about.
I will tell you this. My buddy was in town last weekend for my birthday, and we were having some drinks. He stayed in for like 3 days, man, just hanging out. And he's on something. He had to do his blood pressure every single day. He had to keep this little chart going or whatever. We're getting to that. We're in our 40s, man.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, let me see what yours is." I go, "You put that on me right now, man. I'm telling you what, my blood pressure is perfect.
Oh,
118 over 80, man. Or one was 118 over 78 or something." I'm like,
Okay.
golden.
Yeah, for
buddy.
now. For now, this show, if that show runs like 6 more months, you're toast.
I could be in trouble.
I also want to say in that video, that guy did say, "Come on in, Richard," for Richard Jewell, who I believe died like almost 20 years ago.
Oh
He was
no,
like-
the bomber.
Yeah, I think he passed. He passed many years ago.
Yeah, I asked them if they thought he had done it, and they were like, "No, he didn't do it."
But then I think he looks at the camera and says, "Come in, Richard." I'm like, "No, Richard is not around." That guy.
He might not be. He might not be. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think he made it.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's do it. Let's get into some knock it offs because here they come.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
Okay, so we all saw in the news this week LeBron swelling up on Stephen A. Right, that was the big story.
Right.
He gets in his face during a televised timeout in the third quarter. So absolutely knew what was happening. He didn't do this off. He knew what was happening. He comes across like a punk. He comes
Yeah.
across like such a punk. And I'm like, you can't play tough guy. And then this is what's happening later on. I mean, here he is right here. Watch him just get, oh man. Oh yeah, look at this. Super tough guy right there. Look at this in slow motion. He is so soft. I can't
Yeah.
even. He's notorious. Stop the whole game's got to stop. He's checking the video camera up there to see if he's going to get the flagrant one. And I'm like, listen, man, y'all can have him. This cannot be my GOAT. This
Yeah.
cannot, in no world can this guy be the greatest player to ever play a game. And this is how he plays it. I don't care about your stats. Tell me another GOAT, Andy, in any sport that is a diving, flopping crybaby. Tom Brady, no.
No, there's
No.
probably not one. There's probably at that
No.
level.
You cannot be the GOAT and be that guy on that video.
I will also say though, I'd like to give a little special knock it off to Stephen A. Smith, where he's like, as a father. I'm like, look, let's just break down what LeBron did. Like, there are good fathers in the. My point is there are a lot of bad fathers in the world.
Sure.
And here's what LeBron as a father did.
Yep.
He got his son drafted to the Lakers in the NBA. My point is like, Emily's like, seems like I wish my dad would have done that, right? I wish my dad would have went out of his way to get me drafted by the Lakers. So, we all know Bronny's not very good, but look, it's fine. It's just for a couple years. It's not.
Yeah.
It's,
I think what
also knock it off.
LeBron hadn't been met. We both had that opinion when this happened too, right? When everybody was hating on the situation, we said right on this very show, look, I hate on a guy. He earned the right to do something for his kid like that. I'm never going to hate on him for that. Here's the thing why I think LeBron is now starting to get really fired up, because the conversation, Stephen A., the Pivot podcast,
Right.
Ron Clark, all these guys are kind of starting to say the other thing that we were saying a while ago, and LeBron doesn't like it. And it's the truth. This wasn't about being a dad and taking care of his kid. This was all about LeBron.
Sure.
This was all about LeBron. When he's telling everybody he could play in the league right now, when he was a freshman at USC, averaging 1 point and 4 minutes, when he was pumping him up before the draft, when he's telling everybody, you draft my kid and that's where I'm going to play. Like, he made this story about the situation. He had his moment of being father, son on the court. This was all about LeBron. So all the smoke you're getting right now, bro, deserved.
Yeah. The other thing is that Bronny doesn't really play. Right, like there's 24 dudes on the Lakers. I think I saw he's like 23rd in minutes, like barely. He could be last. Like,
right.
I mean, it's fine. Bronny's going to leave the league when LeBron retires. Probably Bronny.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what LeBron was really getting pissed about, because Stephen A., a lot of the stuff Stephen A. was saying, if you guys don't know, was kind of in defense of Bronny. Like, he was saying he's not good enough to be there. He's not, but he was saying this is not fair to him. Like, send him down to the G League and let him develop. Let the kid play. Let him try to get better. Quit having him on the bench for the dog and pony show, which is kind of a defense of Bronny,
Right. Well, also, I think Bronny got cooked by Maxey on the Sixers in a couple games. And that's what started it. Like, but Maxey is like one of the 20 best players in the NBA. My point is, like, a lot of dudes get cooked by Maxey. Like, Bronny's not special. It wasn't like super embarrassing. It was like Maxey for the Sixers was a really good guard. He coached dudes. Like, that's what happens. Like, I'm now, from all accounts I can say about Bronny, like, I don't obviously know him.
Sure.
Seems like a good guy. Seems like he's trying hard. Like, not his fault. Like, I'm veering over to being like, just let Bronny hang out for a couple years in the NBA. And
let's let him sit on the end of the bench. Like what other 58th pick or whatever he was, end of the second round pick, got a 4-year multi-million-dollar deal right out of the gate? None. It
happens all the time in business, right? Sons get from their fathers, like
for sure. So I mean, it is what it is. This is a double knock it off, though. Knock it off to LeBron. You can't be the GOAT when you're Captain Flopper Oh
No.
my God, it makes me want to throw up every time. That was a bad one too. I can't get over
It was
that
a
one. But this is a double knock it off. Knock it off to Stephen A., who then went on to the Arenas podcast and
heard.
talked about. Did you hear it?
I heard some of it. Like,
He went on there, and toward the end of it, you know, you get waxing a little sassy when you're on the couch there with your buddies and shit. And I say sassy for him because that's a fitting word for him.
yeah.
But he's like, you know, I knew I was on TV and I worked for Walt Disney and I couldn't get in no trouble. So I knew I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't do. What were you going to do? Listen,
Right.
maybe taking dives and shit, but he will whip your little ass in 2 seconds.
He's like 6'9", 275. What are you doing?
What were you going to do? Did you
Nothing.
eat in the arena? You and Gilbert were going to talk about guns in the arena? Is that what's going on?
I'd say the same thing to Gil. Like, what's Gilbert going to do? Like there's, I don't know. I'm definitely knock it off LeBron, but also Stephen A.
Stephen A. big time knock it off. What were you going to do about it?
Why is also, just to jump on this even more, and I know we're overdoing it, but like,
we're good.
Why does Stephen A. care about Bronny? Like, who gives a shit?
We're going to get to that on the very next, brother. You just was a good little segue to the very next knock it off we're going to do. But quickly, I did take a screenshot from that Arenas podcast. And I do got to say this, Gil is like super cool about just bringing regular folks into the show to just sit on the couch with them while they're talking.
Right.
And like, look on this video here. Look, he got the rose petals down. He's got his mechanic right on the right end of the couch. He gave him some popcorn. He got him some drinks, and he just let the mechanic come in, gave him house shoes to just sit there next to him and talk to Stephen A., man.
That's so nice.
Why is that dude dressed like a mechanic? I don't know.
I don't know.
I found it hilarious. And he does not, through the whole video, he's not even paying attention. He's just eating the popcorn. I'm going, who is this dude, man? Anyway, you two clowns, knock it off.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
Here we go, buddy. This is why Stephen A. is talking about Bronny and the Lakers and everybody nonstop. And I love Charles Barkley, and he's right. And war on ESPN right now, Andy.
I saw a fool idiot on TV talking about the Lakers save the NBA.
Save the NBA?
Yeah, he's an idiot and a fool. He know who he is. What's his name, Shaq?
Which one you talking about?
Kendrick Perkins.
Oh.
First of all, the Lakers have had a great 2 weeks. He said the Lakers saved the NBA season. That's because them fools on the other network, which we're going to be working for next year, that's all they talk about. Let me tell y'all something.
Tell me something.
And first of all, I want all the smoke. I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard or anything like that.
I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard.
Right.
I like that.
Hey, man.
I'm stealing that one.
The season's been going great for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. But y'all are idiots because y'all talk about the Lakers and the Warriors all the time. That's the reason I get pissed. You fools on other networks, which we gonna become fools next year. We be working on that network. Y'all talking about teams that had 2 great weeks.
Time out. I get what you're saying. You went at the whole network.
Because they talk about the same
whole
stuff.
industry.
Whole industry. They talk about the same stuff every single day.
He is 100% right. I can't even have it on in the house anymore. I can't. It's like I like to turn it on in the morning because it's a monopoly and I don't have a choice. It's the only thing if you want some sports talk in the morning, and I'll have it on in the background and I'll just have to turn it on. I won't watch First Take. I won't be yelled at all morning about where you walked in early and talked to the producers and you're taking side A and I'm taking side B. I will not watch the Skip Bayless show on steroids. It's pointless. I'll turn on Get Up because you'll get some information, but my God, if it's not just the same thing every day now, it's going to be the Steelers and Rodgers and other shit is happening. You know?
Yeah, but I do like Chuck. I got a couple predictions. One, this Barkley inside the NBA ESPN thing is not going to go great. That's one of my predictions.
No, they're going to try to control those guys, and that thing is great because they're not controlled.
Right. And the other is like, I get what Barkley's saying. He's right. But the Luka trade did energize the league, right? It is. The Lakers have been a lot better and have made and become a legit NBA champion, Western Conference finalist. And so have the Warriors with the Butler trade, right? Those two old teams are legit. And it makes it a lot more interesting, especially when you have teams like the Thunder who are really good, but really young, right?
Yeah.
So the Lakers are the premier franchise. The Celtics are probably the second premier franchise. We know the Celtics are going to be good. We know the Cavs are good. And hey, look, I have a future on them at 11-1 to win the NBA title. I'm rooting for the Cavs.
Yeah.
But look, right now in a 7-game series, if you asked me to pick between the Celtics and the Cavs, I probably would take the Celtics. Just I straight up would. They've been there, they've done it.
Yeah.
And look, if you're going to give me Luka and LeBron versus the Thunder, like I think the Thunder will win, but it won't be easy, right? I think it's a 7-gamer.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying at all, and you're right. And those are stories that deserve to be reported on, and those are all true facts. And I think what Chuck is saying though is, but on that network, that's not something that's reported on the way you just did, which is 100% right. It's reported they saved the league. No one would be watching. It would be underwater. People would turn it off. No one's watching right now anyway. But listen, I'm just saying, like, they go over the top with all this shit, and then it's an hour of it.
But I will say what it did save was the Lakers, right? It saved the Lakers, and it's a premier franchise. It's like, you know what? It's a little like when, like, I kind of feel this way about like Nebraska football, right? We grew up in a time where Nebraska football was awesome. Like they were just always there. And now they've been bad for 20 years, it feels like, you know, like, and I kind of would like for them to be good. Like there's just some teams in some sports, I just kind of always want to be good. And those teams are going to get talked about.
Yeah, they are. They are. No doubt about it. Just quit taking it over the top and it being the only thing I hear for an hour. Make this point, make the story, and then talk about something else for 5 damn minutes. I'm telling you, we ain't going to stop hearing about the Steelers and Rodgers. And like, if the Lions made a huge move for Hendrickson tomorrow, it'd be buried behind Rodgers was eating mushrooms today, and Tomlin said he didn't like mushrooms. And that's what we'll listen to for an hour. And I'm out.
No, for sure. They're just following, you know, the dummies in America, right?
The dummies in America. Oh, is it more evident than ever now, or what?
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh my God, it's bad.
All right, everyone, time to do me a favor and knock it off.
All right, buddy, we're bringing back another segment that has not been around in a good couple of weeks after football ended, but it is time for another episode of All Right Bet. Oh, a little All Right Bet here. We're going to be talking a little tourney on All Right Bet, which is going to be brought to you by the only beverage you should be enjoying all tourney long, because when it's the NCAA tournament, it's kind of like football on the West Coast, right, Andy? The games are early.
Yeah, they're early.
The
They're
games
nice.
are early. You need to have some.
Brass monkey, that monkey, brass monkey chunky.
Yeah, those early first-round games, guys. Get together. Get some Old English 800, the official beer choice of the DWMOD podcast. Get some orange juice and get yourself a brass monkey. It is time for a little All Right Bet, my friend. And we are going to throw you guys some quick things to maybe look at in the conference tournaments really quick before the NCAA tournament, because we'll be doing our own episode on that. You know that. So if you want to make a little money this week, now, I think you'll agree with me, Andy. We can maybe not waste any time here and say Duke is winning the ACC. We don't need to discuss it.
Yeah. I mean, but I will throw you. Well, I don't have the odds in front of me, but if you want to just take a shot at it, I would take maybe Clemson. If you just want to bet against Duke, but yeah, Duke.
Yeah,
but,
you're going to be wasting your money.
But if you want to take a gamble, go with Clemson.
Yeah, if you want to win some money on Clemson, maybe bet them the game before the ACC championship when they got like some lower odd tight game against I don't even know who, you know what I mean? Because the ACC is not that tough anymore. Maybe do that. But look, Duke's taking that thing home. Now, the Big 12 we can blow right through as well. Listen, Houston, the front runner there, probably going to take that thing home. I think there's maybe 2 teams here, Andy, correct me if I'm wrong. 2 teams you take a flyer on. I took a flyer on Iowa State because the odds are that pays pretty well, and that's not crazy. I'm going to be on Iowa State maybe to take that tournament. Outside shot for Texas Tech.
I think Texas Tech's a 2 seed. I like Texas Tech. You know, it's just a 1-game situation. If you want to, I would throw out, if you really want to kind of gamble, this team has been bad all year, but as a good coach, does have loads of talent, and if they can put it together for 3 games, they could do it. Kansas at like 1,200, you know, but they have been so bad this year. Dickinson is terrible. Like he's so bad. Self seems like he hates this team. So I'm not going to do it. But if you truly ask me to pick like a long shot in the Big 12, I would put Kansas on there. But I like Texas Tech at plus like 350, 4-1.
Right. So the 4-1, you can play Texas Tech for $5 and you can win about $20. That's
Yeah.
good. That's a good little $5 bet. If you're betting like that's what you got to think about, guys. If you want to bet all these conference tournaments and you're just betting for the winners and all that, you're going to spend like $5 on each tournament. You're going to be about $25 in. You're going to bet maybe a couple of the other ones. So let's say you're going to be $30 in, right? You're going to make maybe 6 different bets, right? And you need to hit like 1 or 2 of them, right? So that's a good one. I got in at Iowa State $5 to pay 45, I think, or something. I got it like last week, maybe 40, 45. And I'm like, that's a good little bet for $5, you know, but those 2 tournaments, be careful in those 2. Those are the only teams to bet on there.
Well, yeah, they're going to be, if you really want to bet Houston, you're like, take them to win the national title.
Yeah, because it's like minus something to win the tournament, I think. So
yeah, or even money, and even money's not terrible, right?
Yeah,
like,
if you want to go in like $50 or something, you know what I mean. Even
right,
money
just to talk about Kansas, and no, I hate Kansas with all my heart. They play Utah and UCF, and then if they win that game, then they play BYU. No, they play BYU, I think. Right.
Yeah,
so
probably BYU.
The 3 seed. They'll play Arizona. Sorry, they'll play Arizona. Beatable, winnable game there. And then they'll probably get Texas Tech or something like that. So
then they got to win 2 gauntlets.
Then so if you think KU can beat Arizona and beat Utah or whatever, which I do, then you can start hedging a little bit. But I think it's very hard to be like, trust KU.
You could probably make a little money on KU if you just play them straight up in the first 3 games of the tournament and then back off, because the odds are probably going to be about even.
Right. Or what you would do is you take them to win the conference tourney. Just pray to God they win the first 2 games. They beat Arizona,
right?
And then when they get to Texas Tech, then they're going to be a dog. Then you could maybe start hedging with Texas Tech money line and somewhere.
Hedge it back the other way, something like that. You know what I mean? But listen, guys, you're talking about $5 here. You can't even get a hot dog and a pop at Home Depot for $5 no more, man. Put $5 on it. You know what I'm saying?
I go Texas Tech. If I had 1 bet, it would be Texas Tech.
Yeah, I'm going Iowa State just because they did it last year. I know it's tough to do it twice in a row, but the only way I think you knock off a team like Texas Tech or knock off Houston to win this thing is tough, gritty defense, and that's how they play. So, who knows? Let's jump into the 2 tournaments where there are some options, right?
Okay.
Some options. Now, first, let's jump into the SEC. Let's take the SEC tournament here. Everybody, like the pundits and talking heads will tell you this thing's a lockdown. It's going to be Auburn. Listen, Coach Corso, not so fast, my friend. That's some good teams in here, right?
Yeah, there's like 4 really good teams in here. Ultimately, Auburn, Florida, Bama, and Tennessee.
And this is where you make money on betting a tournament like this, because the odds are so heavy on Auburn that the odds on the other teams are better, So
yeah. Well, you got Auburn's got to play, ultimately Tennessee probably,
and right? Ole Miss, no joke.
We got to go Ole Miss, Arkansas. I assume Arkansas is going to win today. I have no idea, but I think Auburn's. I just think Auburn's going to get to the semifinal for sure.
For sure. Right, and because they'll wind up playing Tennessee, like you said, Tennessee A&M. It seems like they'll beat them, right? So to break that down, I think Andy's 100% right. You're going to see Auburn in the semifinal.
I think so. I think you're going to see them there for sure. And then, then on the other side of the bracket, which is a little harder, obviously, you got, Missouri, obviously, but I don't think Missouri is going to beat Florida. No. I don't, I think they'll get to Florida. I don't think Kentucky versus Alabama. Interesting, I think.
Yeah, it's an interesting game.
The problem with Alabama, and I like Alabama, which is like they can score 100 points, but their defense is so bad.
They're so bad.
They just give up so many points, and they're going to lose a game like 100 to 101.
And that's why I was going to make a specific point of talking anybody out of jumping on that Bama gamble to win this thing, because the way the bracket lines up. If you were going to line up, Bama was going to line up playing Auburn or something, maybe roll the dice on that.
Yeah.
But when Bama's going to line up playing Florida, no, because Florida's the same kind of team. They can pour in buckets when they need to, but they have stretches of really good defense. Florida will play some defense, and Bama won't. There's just no chance they beat Florida.
Yeah, I like, in the SEC to win it, I like Florida like plus 250.
That's where I'm at.
I like that a lot. If you want to just do a wild card and just, because, Auburn's plus 150, Florida 250, Alabama 450, Tennessee 6. Like, those are all probably fine bets. But I want something bigger. I'm a greedier. So I would jump over to Kentucky 20.
If you wanted to try to pull into the electric,
Just pull a big one. If I'm pulling a big one, if I'm betting just safety, one bet, I'd probably take Florida.
That's and I'm going to tell you guys, that's what I'm doing. When I was talking earlier about spreading around 6 bets on all these conference tournaments, I'm putting $5 on not a super long shot, but not the favorite. So, I'm coming in $5 on Florida. If that hits, I get paid about $30, right? And then the other one I told you, I got $5 on I forget who I said. Iowa State. That comes in, there's another $40. You know what I mean? So now I'm at 70.
Right.
And I got 4 more bets to go. But for sure, for fun, take some shots on some long shots for 2. I'm on Florida in this one with you. I think that's a good bet to win this thing.
Yeah, Florida. Give me a long shot. Give me Kentucky, because I think they could beat Bama, and then maybe they could beat Florida, and then we'll see. Right? You just get to then I can hedge if I get to the final. I can hedge at that point.
You can play it back the other way, protect
Right.
your money. No doubt about it. Let's jump into the Big Ten tournament. Now, we're going to get, mainly these tournaments, we're talking about the later seeds in the bracket. We're talking about the quarterfinals, semifinals, these early games. Not a lot of gambling going on there for me, because there's a lot of games that are just always like dead even, and it's not good teams. Guys, don't get involved in that unless it's your school. You know what I mean? Because these teams will ramp it up for the tournament, and you'll be like, oh, Iowa might beat Ohio State. I'm not interested. You're going to lose money on that. You're gonna. But we do have a special guest on the show this week who's got an early round team in the Big Ten. Big Illinois Illini fan, comedian Kenny Smallhorn. He recently just had me on his show right here, Death and Desserts podcast. He had me on his show last week. It's an interesting podcast. He gets desserts together and you sit around and talk about death and things that revolve around like your dying and your legacy here and things. And but it's comedians talking about it. So it's interesting. Listen, check that out. Death and Desserts. And here's Kenny's video. He's diehard Illini fan. Let's see what he's got to say.
Mikey, I want to thank you for inviting me to do this. My name is Kenny. I graduated from Illinois in 2020. You might find this interesting. I actually worked as a security guard at Assembly Hall State Farm Center while I was in college. I started that when I was a sophomore. And I have to say, being a security guard was just about everything that you think it is and much less. Our only real role was to stop college students from bringing booze in and stopping old ladies from bringing purses in. So it was like the worst type of narc situation. We had no real authority. All we could do was call the cops. So, we all contribute to Illinois basketball in our own way. And that was my contribution. But I did get to sit courtside at many basketball games, which was pretty cool. Now, I know when it comes to basketball, I never played basketball. I don't know a lot about the stats. So to be honest, I really just watch it with my heart. I really just watch for the vibe and the feeling that I'm getting. And going to the end of the season here with Illinois basketball, the vibe I'm getting is good. I feel pretty good about the team right now. I know there's some controversy about where they are ranked, whether they are ranked high enough or whether they're ranked too low. What is the tension between where they are at? Currently 24th in the AP poll and 7th in the Big Ten. I don't necessarily feel any tension over that. I feel they're ranked where they need to be. They are kind of in the middle of the road of the Big Ten. And I think that they've had some great wins, especially near the end of the year. They beat Iowa, they beat Michigan, they beat Purdue for that last game. So, they've had some great wins and they've shown how good they are. But they've also had a couple blowout losses, like to Duke. We got the season sweep of Michigan State. So, it really just depends on what team shows up to the tournament and what team they're playing against, and I think that's a good thing with a vibe, is that a vibe can change at any moment. So I'm really holding on to that. I think where Illinois is at right now, there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of reason to be excited, even for the tournament this year. But they are a young team. They continue to grow. And I don't know that this will be the year that they can, go up against someone like Michigan State. But I think in years to come, it'll be a different story. So that's what I'm looking forward to this year. And I'm going to end this with a good ILL.
I like that.
Yeah, he gave you the in-depth look there where they're at. You know what I mean? And by the way, that is absolutely the early part of that video is absolutely his style of comedy on stage. Is that whole bit? That's dead on him when he's talking about. So you got to take alcohol away from college kids or separate old ladies from their purses is the worst narc situation you can ever be.
Sure.
It's terrible. It's terrible. But hey, a couple of big wins down the stretch for Illinois. They did knock some teams off. They look good in stretches, but he's right. They don't have a shot in this thing, and they got to come up against your boys in Maryland. I don't think they get out of the third round at all.
I like Maryland. I like Maryland. My kind of I think it's gonna, my Big Ten love this year is minimal.
Yeah.
I just don't like the conference generally. So I think this is a great take a shot conference personally.
Yeah. It is.
And I'm going to take a shot, and I'm going to take UCLA.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm going to take UCLA. I like UCLA upsets Sparty, and then I think UCLA gets Maryland, and then I think I'm going to take the runs. I just like the coach. I like Cronin. I think UCLA they recruit / draft a lot of good athletes. Are kind of like Kansas, but a little like the athletes like Kansas was what my Kansas point earlier. Good coach. And I'm going to take a shot at UCLA right now at 7-1. I love. So give me 7-1. Give me UCLA.
Everybody in Big Ten country hates your guts right now. We already watched a Pac-12 team win the Big Ten championship, and now we're going to watch another Pac-12 team come in and win the Big Ten championship in basketball. No, sir. No, sir.
The setup is so nice, right? They'll get Wisconsin, who's kind of, or they'll get Wisconsin or Northwestern or Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Wisconsin I liked Wisconsin a lot, but now they're kind of fading. They win that game. While Michigan State's got to battle Oregon, which is not going to be a cakewalk, in my opinion. Oregon's kind of good.
Yeah, they're decent.
They'll beat them, but that's still scary. Let's imagine Oregon wins. Then I love UCLA. But let's say it's Sparty, one game, Sparty, UCLA. Yeah. It's 7-1. I love 7-1.
That's not bad at all. The way that this bracket lines up, you lay a lot of knowledge right there. They just need one thing to happen because, look, if they beat Maryland, I don't see Michigan, like the winner of Michigan, Purdue. Michigan, they have their moments where they're really good, but they have their moments where they're really bad too. And Purdue is exactly the same. I mean, you don't know what you're getting out of either one of those teams. So, I mean, those might be a dark horse there to take if one of them gets hot because they do have the talent. Those two teams do have the talent to win this thing, but Michigan's played Michigan State twice this year and got their ass beat by 15 and 20 or something so I'm not into it, man.
Right. I would also say, just because what you're talking about, that side of the bracket, Illinois, Maryland winner, assuming that's what we get, to me is going to make the final. So if Illinois can get to Maryland, right, and play Maryland, whoever wins that game, I like over Michigan. I like over Purdue. So, you could get Illinois at 7-1 as well, if you think they can get there.
Okay.
I like Maryland personally, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, I know Kenny be rooting for Illinois to beat Maryland. I got no dog in that fight. It'd be fun to see Illinois beat them because personally, I'd like to see Michigan make a run. I'd like to see Michigan State in the championship game. That's just always fun when those two schools play in anything.
Yeah.
But listen, I think you talked me into this UCLA one. I think I'm going to put a $5 on that. That's 7-1. The bracket lines up right. You make a lot of sense right there, dude. You just do.
They just got to survive Wisconsin, and then look, they're going to be like a 5-point dog to Michigan State, and Michigan State, awesome, really good. But that I think it's just a good long shot bracket, and you just.
Now, I like that. I love that long shot. UCLA is the long shot there. I got 5 on University of Michigan to win it just for fun. But, I love the UCLA bet. And I'm also going to put a little hedge on Michigan State just to win it. Maybe a little heavier nugget than I normally do. I just think they're that much better than everybody. UCLA's a good bet, man. Talk me into that one. I'll be making that one as soon as we're done.
Also, in the Big Ten, they're all plus money. And Michigan State's 250. Maryland's 350. Wisconsin's 6. Illinois and UCLA 7. And then Michigan is 14. Look, 14 tells me they're as a 2 seed. What we should be doing is betting Michigan, I guess, as a 2 seed. But it tells me that people don't believe in Michigan.
Ultimately. No, they've gotten beaten by the good teams and beaten badly. You know what I mean? So you just never know. You never know. Yeah, I think I put a little bet on that, and it pays a lot.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I'm riding with the Bruins.
Ride with the Bruins. I like it, man. I'm not going to hate on it at all. Those are little teasers heading into the NCAA tournament. Now, guys, I'm sure you've been paying attention to the social media sites. I'm sure you saw our big winner, Abhi Singh, wearing his Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey that he won from the fantasy football contest. A good friend of the show and mega business star, Anthony Finelli, has been too busy to post a picture of his Barry Sanders throwback jersey that he won during the contest. Anthony. But anyway, we are going to be running a wide open, no limit as to how many people can get in. You're only allowed to do one bracket, guys. But we are bringing back the DWMOD pod bracket racket. We're going to post that information on the social media. You can click to join, or you can just go right on to the enemy's website, ESPN. That's where we'll be running the tournament challenge at, and just look up DWMOD pod bracket racket, man. That's what it's under.
Yep.
Public can join it. You get one bracket, and we're going to get prizes to the top 2 scores like this. Whoever wins the damn thing is going to get the jersey of their choice, and whatever bracket has the most victories will win a jersey. That's not always the same person as wins the thing, right? Right. So whoever has the most correct picks will win a jersey, and whoever wins the tournament bracket will win a jersey. Guys, it's free. Go jump on, check out the social media, and look at Abhi's jersey. These are real legit jerseys. Pick anything you want. Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA. I don't care. Whatever you want to pick. Get on there, man. Put your bracket in.
Yeah, I mean, try to beat us. I'm going to be beatable. There's going to be very beatable this. I'm very beatable.
I don't know, man. I think we stand pretty tall against the rest of the, well, Abhi Singh did pull out the championship game and knocked you out of the playoffs there in the fantasy football. But I think it's going to be tough. We're on top of this thing. Anyway, join it. The bracket racket. That's it for this week, guys. We will be back next week with a special tournament edition. We'll be giving you first round, second round games, Sweet 16 picks, long shots to make Elite Eights, all that kind of fun shit to make some money. Andy, I'm looking forward to that. Selection Sunday. Where are you watching?
I'm going to be at home. I'm going to watch at home. I'm going to watch that. I feel like the 4 1 seeds are already locked in. So now it's just going to be like those 8 seeds, I think, are going to be a little scary this year. I think all the ones will beat them, but, I think we're going to get Florida, Auburn, Duke, and, somewhat Houston probably in some form. I think those are 4-1. So, I'll be interested to see who the last 4 in are,
Yeah. Going to be interesting to see. We'll see that on Sunday. We'll have some play-in action. Anyway, get in there, guys. Fill out those brackets, and we'll see you next time.
College football is now B1G versus SEC. Down, put.
If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money.
Ready?
Oh, Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works.